Today I have come to you as Commander-in-Chief of Space Fleet to talk about the processes that are now in progress in near-Earth space. Perhaps, many of you have already realized that the fight between the dark and the light forces on Earth has reached its supreme stage. At present it is conspicuous at all the levels of existence this time. The events that are taking place are to draw a final line under the third dimension world on your planet, eventually to bury it. It is the only way for the new world to come to effect and for people to start transforming a new high vibration space, not only in terms of energy this time but in practice as well, abolishing old institutions of power and creating new centers for society coordination and government. Right now there is being made an attempt to revive those who are potentially ready to awake. That is exactly the reason why all the demands of the deep state's marionettes have been driven to the point of absurdity, who seem to be acting to the detriment of themselves now, but, as a matter of fact, it is part of the Creator's plan for your beautiful planet's population revival that finds herself in the grip of inhumans who have been at the helm of the planet for centuries. Everything has become so apparent that it cannot be seen only by the blind. And thanks to the mass revival of people, our activity is reaching its final stage, too. Believe me, my dear, we are supporting you not only at the subtle level, now sending you salvational energies, but at the physical level, too, helping those who are implementing the final stage of their operation on deliverance of Earth from all the dark forces representatives embodied as humans. The number of them is huge indeed, since all your society, all the countries of the world are run through by the corrupt net of the hidden government that almost all the heads of the countries have got into, as well as their governments and officials at all the levels of power. You see the impudent and unpunished way that all the disliked heads of the states that refuse to get under their control are physically got rid of, and, unfortunately, we do not always manage to protect them from danger. But what we manage to do is to control the airspace of Earth that is closely encircled by our spaceships. The last stronghold of the dark forces on Earth were their underground bases in Antarctica that are now completely seized and purified from all the participants of the projects that they have worked on for many decades. So now our attention is mostly focused on providing support to the Light Forces Alliance from the subtle level, tracking all the movements in space so as to prevent any slightest failure in their program of disclosure that is to come to effect in the near time. These brave and courageous people need such escort because not only they put their lives at risk but also are objects to unceasing energy attacks for the side of the dark forces vestiges that still remain on your planet, and who until their last breath do their best to fulfill the orders of their high patrons. I will not deal with the twist and turns of our work, since the aim of my message is to support you and assure that at the subtle level everything is under control now. And now you have to do your part of work, to show free will and make the final decision in favor transition with Earth to a new era of the fifth dimension. Unite in spirit, our dear ones. Show determination and firmness while asserting your interests and rights to dispose of your life and health. Then we will win a quick and decisive victory, delivering humanity out of 1,000-year slavery. Today I have come to you as a private individual so as to share my vision of the current events on Earth with you. And I see that vibration gap between people is growing larger and larger with every single day. It is accounted for by the fact that your planet has already reached the active phase of transition. And this is what I mean by this expression. Now activity shows in terms of everything. In terms of Earth it shows in her vibrations swiftly increasing, and in terms of people in the fact that every person has already decided on their position in respect of the events taking place all over the world and has started to uphold their ground. Thus, light and ancient souls understand that under no circumstances will they accept the world order that is being imposed on them right now, and under no circumstances will they allow to be vaccinated, no matter how high the price they have to pay is. While those who have not managed to break free from the third dimension matrix fanatically follow all the authorities' instructions and believe everything that the mass media under the hidden government control are communicating to them. Between these two groups there is almost no layer left of those who have not arrived to a decision yet or are still in doubt. As a matter of fact, you are allowed enough time to think everything over, as well as sufficient information that discloses the actual state of things. Why haven't so many people managed to take advantage of all this for their own sake? Before all, it is explained by the fact that the majority of them is not humans but creatures embodied as humans, both reptiloids and representatives of other low-vibration civilizations. As you already know, they live in compliance with certain programs that, unfortunately, influence young immature human souls in a magic way. herd feeling that has been cultivated in your society for centuries has now played its crucial fateful role for many. Unfortunately, in this respect the odds were not in favor of light in spite of all our efforts and the efforts of highly developed civilizations' representatives embodied as humans, such as the Pleiades, Arcturus, Andromeda, Sirius, as well as many other ancient human souls. But I would like to comfort you and tell you that despite the stratification of Earthlings according to vibrations and worldview being so striking, the odds are still in favor of those who are ready to make transition. And the reason is as follows. The point here is not in quantity but in quality of human souls. The best representatives of Earth's aspiration for light and their irresistible desire to move into the fifth dimension with their planet have turned out to be strong enough to attract, in accordance with the law of similars, all the higher powers of the universe in your galaxy family. These people's high vibrations have overwhelmed the low vibrations of a huge amount of the average people who failed to break free from the metes and bounds of the third dimensionality and have overcome the barriers separating the third dimension world from those of the fourth and fifth density. So now, invisible events occurring both at the subtle and physical level of Earth have also reached their active phase and will swiftly turn apparent. The very disclosure you have been waiting for so long is not far off, and I would like you to know that the Galaxy Light Federation for their part make all the efforts to get this process run smoothly and as painlessly for people as possible. At present all our energies are directed at disarming Dark's representatives on Earth who before they finally leave the planet are trying to ruin as many human souls as possible, though they understand that their plan on robotization of Earth's population has already failed. I assure you, we keep our finger on the pulse, but we ask you to remain faithful to the chosen path up till the end and not to yield to the ruling top's provocations under any circumstances. The most regretful thing that could happen now is to fall to the ground at the very last moment when the victory of the light forces is on the threshold now. Always remember that we are always there for you at this turning point of your destiny. I love you very much and admire your courage, my dear.